Listen, how to be a more effective dasher for the app DoorDash food delivery, how to make more money, how to be more effective with your mileage, your gas, and your income. So for DoorDash, as you know, it is a base fare plus you get to keep 100% of your tips. So this is a tip that you should, try out. It depends upon what area you're in because it depends on how much demand you're in. But a lot of people just accept the first request that they get. But you really need to look at the request that comes in because if you get a $10 request from McDonald's that's 14 miles away, you're kind of cutting into that $5 base pay and the what maybe a dollar or a couple cents tip or dollar, let's say 10%, a dollar from that $10 order in tips. You need to go that far of a distance. You would need to have an order that's much higher or worth your time. So let's break it down. When I first started doing DoorDash, I was like, I'm not going this far for, such a short order. I'm only going to get a dollar in tips. So I made a little criteria what would make me go so far. So say to go 8 miles away or 10 miles away, I would need an order at least of $30, let's say. It's changed, but you really need to look at the amount, you know, that the order's worth. You want to go higher. You want to go $30 because you're at least getting, $3 if it's a 10% tip. You want to go things that are $50, even $100. I've had times where I've declined a small order and straight out the bat it's been ordered like $50, $60, and the tips are more, it's more worth your time to go that far of a distance. You don't want to be driving all the way in the cut for a $10 order because you're only going to get $1 in tips, and your gas is probably going to eat that extra $1, and you might only make like a total of $5 or $4. It's just not worth your time. And say you go that 10 miles away for that $10 order, you might have to, wait. You might run into traffic. So you need to create in the criteria for your time. It's like I said, to go 10 miles, I would have to get an order that's $30 and more. So if that's not making too much sense to you, I'm just going to break down some of my numbers. To do a head-to-head comparison, I'll do that one first. So we had two separate dashes that were lasted 4 hours, and they were consistent of 6 deliveries. So one of them in tips, I got $32.91, and the other one I only got $15.45. That's a big difference. And on top of that, the one that I made $15.45, it was during the time they did the hourly guarantee. I got an extra $6.32 to make me up to the hourly guarantee. But that's other dash that was the same amount of hours, that same amount of deliveries, I still made more. Maybe I think it was $20 more on that. And then we have another situation that was a total of 4 deliveries. I believe it was 2 hours of dashing. We have $26.61 in tips versus $13.26 in tips. That's a great deal, a change. To be effective, you need to make sure that you're picking up a bigger amount of money. It makes sense because if you were a server at a restaurant, you want to upcharge people to have a bigger per head, bigger ticket price versus this one person I sold $20 with. I'm making less, money for a person who's buying $50 worth of stuff. It makes sense. It makes sense. And I figured out not right away, but quickly. And DoorDash will threaten to say if you decline 3 dashes in a row, that'll kick you off. I mean, you can hop back on. You can't hop back on unless if it's red and very busy, you can just hop back on, and it's better to work during busier times because there's more, that you're gonna get something. And even my acceptance rate isn't as high as they want it to be, but I'm still able to dash. I'm still able to get dashes. I might have noticed that one time it wouldn't let me dash in Prime, but you can always dash when it's like red. It's super heavy, so be wary. When I was doing this, I say I declined to that third one. I would accept because I didn't want to have to deal with it. But then I realized you can just hop back on. I might be talking around in circles, but this is, I hope you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to break down one more because I changed my mindset, but I noticed that, the concept still holds true to what I was doing before. Now in my area, instead of a $12 hour guarantee, they're doing $2 extra through the time of 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can just accept anything and it's still going to be more money than if I were just being selective. But I was doing some digging in. I compared my 2 highest payout amounts, and these payouts are kind of lower because I only do this part-time. So my largest one was $300 and $305.53. That was 22 hours worth of dashing and 32 deliveries. And I did the equation, and it's out to $9.54 per delivery. And my second highest grossing is $271.63, but it is 16 hours and 28 deliveries. That is a 6-hour difference, 4 delivery difference, which would be a $20 base fare, and the total amount of $34.32 difference. But this one with less deliveries has a higher per delivery amount, and my less delivery for that delivery was $9.68. And still, you see, this was a 34 difference between the highest and lowest, and I'm still making more with those less deliveries per delivery, if that makes sense. So you need to be effective and make sure that you're not going so far for so little. You want to make sure you're looking for those higher dollar amounts, those 30s and up. Boom, do it. Those $100, we want those $100 ones because your tips are going to be so vast. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying with this video. Is very effective way to lessen your mileage and ultimately increase what you're bringing in. This is your boy Nick. This video is a little bit longer than I wanted to, but like, comment, subscribe. Comment below on what you think of this tip, what I'm saying. Hopefully you understand what concept I'm saying. I might have been talking in circles, but whatever. Peace.